Do you ever feel like every COD Zombies YouTuber's top 10 maps of all time are all the same? Are you tired of always hearing that the best Call of Duty Zombies map of all time is either Origins, Mob of the Dead, or Dead Rise and Drive?
Mob of the Dead.
Origins.
Well, in today's video, you will be shocked to hear my controversial top 10 maps of all time, and oh boy is it full of hot takes. You'll probably never hear a top 10 as bad as mine ever again. On that note, hi everyone, I hope you're doing fine. In today's video, I am going to share my top 10 Call of Duty Zombies maps of all time as of April 2025. If you guys want to support this channel, don't forget to leave a like or dislike, which probably will be a dislike at the end of the video if you want. Subscribe if you want more content like this, and let's start this video. But before ranking my favorite COD Zombies maps of all time, I have to give you guys some warnings so you won't want to kill me right after watching this video. First off, no, this video is not rage bait. This whole ranking will be based on my opinions and my experience as a new generation COD Zombies player. The first map that I ever touched was Shadows of Evil on Black Ops 3, and at the time that I discovered this map, I was really bad at the game. So I did not have a proper experience of this map and of this game in general. And so, as the years went on, I became better at the games and more invested in them. Sadly, I haven't played every single map that was ever created. So, here is on screen the list of the maps that won't be in this ranking, either because I never played them or I haven't played these maps enough to have a proper opinion about them. As you can see, pretty much all of the best maps are on screen right now, so you might be wondering, why is this random guy making a ranking video if he didn't even play half of these maps? Well, I decided to wake up and be different. Nah, but for real, let's just say that I kind of want to stay out of the average COD Zombies tryhards, you know? So, I'm sorry to y'all Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 enjoyers, but I sadly haven't played these games enough to have an opinion on most of these maps from these games. But hey, maybe it will be refreshing to hear a ranking from a new gen player and not from another OG player, you know? Tell me in the comment section if I'm coping too much here. And if you're wondering if I will include extinction maps on this ranking, well, the answer is no. Sorry to my COD Ghost enjoyers. Now, with all that yapping said, let's start with the 10th position on this ranking, which is... Oh boy, what a way to start this ranking, right? Here's my first and definitely not last hot take of this ranking. So you may wonder, how can The Maschine be in somebody's top 10? Well, here's why. The Maschine is the first map of Cold War, and it was included in the game during its release. We play as operators. The map is a remake of Northern Toten from World at War, the first ever COD Zombies map ever created. It expands this map's size by a lot and adds new elements like an underground facility. I will be honest with you guys here. There is not a lot of things to like about this map. Huh? It's pretty generic and not unique in any aspect. So, how is it in my top 10, you will ask? Well, pretty much for the same reason why people say Kino der Toten Black Ops 1 is the best map of all time. It's the memories. I honestly am a Cold War Day 1 defender. And I liked it when it launched. I grinded on this map a lot, and I know its layout pretty well, and I developed attachment towards this map. And so, here's the little things to like about this map in my opinion. Let's start with the Dark Ether side of the map. It looks so cool. I like the little elements that are floating in the sky here and there, and the skybox just looks beautiful with its purple color. The Plague Hounds are also pretty cool, even if they can be annoying at times. They're literally a variant of the Hellhounds, but instead of being on fire, well, they give you COVID-19. The Megaton is also a cool elite boss. I like his design a lot, and his lines make him more menacing.
One lamp, one army, one mission.
The only annoying part about him, in my opinion, is when he splits up, because we go from one elite boss to 2, so in total 3. So double the amounts of trouble. Usually, I hate zombies with range attacks, but here, his attacks are pretty easy to dodge, so I don't really mind it that much. It's also pretty fun to have 4 different upgrades for the Wonder Weapon. Even if they're not that good, I still like the fact that we get variants of this Wonder Weapon, and and your favorite variant will depend on what kind of player you are or what kind of situation you're in. I like how the map changes during the special enemy round. That green fog that appears out of nowhere is awesome, even if I can't see shit through it.
I can't see fucking shit out of this thing.
Some side Easter eggs are pretty funny, like the COFFIN dance one. They are not rewarding that much, which is pretty sad, but their concept is pretty funny and cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I remember having a great time trying to grind my camos and trying to reach round 100 on this map. So that's mostly why this map is in my top 10. And y'all Kino der Toten Black Ops 1 Glazers cannot contradict this thought of mine, because that's exactly your arguments too. But still, big shout out to y'all. Now, with all that said, I still have a couple of things that I want to mention about this map. I want to mention what I don't like about this map. So let's just start with the main Easter egg. I find it quite boring, and same goes for the boss fight at the end. I think the steps themselves are not really mind-blowing, and the boss fight is just literally defense, and that's it. I think it could have been better and more developed. I also don't really like that this map is a remake of an old map. The Maschine is not a unique map, because it's one of the many facility maps of the franchise, and I think that at this point, the community is tired of getting facilities maps, you know? Also, some features on this map are kind of useless, in my opinion. My biggest example here are the trials. To be honest with y'all, I never completed one single trial on this map, because I never felt like it would benefit me in some sort, or that it would make my game better or my loadout stronger, you know? Also, the fact that you play as a silent operator is just sad. Well, he's not really silent, but honestly, you get my point. I would have preferred a unique crew, like usual, and that's a problem on every single map on Cold War, so shout out to Cold War, I guess. In conclusion, I think The Maschine is a great map to start playing COD Zombies. It's not too complicated, and it has some fun elements in it. Well, that was pretty fast. I can understand if you don't agree with this take, don't worry. It's really personal to me. Now, let's move on to the 9th spot of this ranking, which is... Now, I already see you guys with your pitchforks and your torches, and we're only 2 maps in. But before you burn down my house, let me just say that I understand every negative thing said about this map, and that I agree with many of these defaults. The thing is, even if the last time that I played this map was like 5 years ago, I still somehow have great memories of this map. Maybe it's the context of when I played this map or who I played it with that impacted my thoughts on it. But I overall honestly have some great memories of this map somehow. And its position in this ranking is because of this nostalgia. So again, that's a Kino Black Ops 1 effect right there. I also am 100% sure that this is the hottest take of this ranking. So if you can get past it, well, the rest of the ranking will be less shocking for you moving forward. Okay, now relax and let me speak my mind. And maybe you'll less want to burn me alive. We'll get through this together. Do not worry. Alpha Omega is the 7th map of Black Ops 4. It was released with Black Ops 4's 3rd DLC pack. We play as the Ultimus and Primus crew. The map is a reimagined Nuketown Zombies, but expanded with, yet again, an underground facility. Okay, now, who at Treyarch is obsessed with underground facilities? Because that's like a lot now. We're only 2 maps in and both have an underground facility. Anyways, let's talk about what I like about this map. First off, like I said previously, you can play as the Ultimus and the Primus crew together. So we have 8 different characters in total, with each of them having different dialogues with each different other characters. And so the dialogues of your game will change depending on with who you're playing with and which character you play as. Your game is still limited to 4 players, but you have double the amount of possible characters playable. And so it's an element of replayability that I like. Each time you play, you may have different conversation between the characters you play as and the characters you play with. I also like the Ray Gun Mark II so much. It's probably one of my favorite wonder weapons of all time, honestly. And being able to upgrade it with 4 different variants, with each of them having their own quest, is awesome. The quests themselves are not really good, but I like the concept of having 4 different upgrades for the Ray Gun Mark II. The original gun is still better though. I said what what I said. I also kind of like the sound design. Kind of. I like the sound of the round changing and when you enter a game. But during a round itself, I feel like the ambience is pretty empty. I also like how the map is designed with 6 different houses and an underground facility that is connected to these 6 houses. The houses are pretty small and have closed spaces, yes, but they still look unique and different from each other, and that makes them easily recognizable. The layout of this map in general is pretty basic, but it's easier to remember and straightforward, at least for me. Why I like this is because I don't like getting lost somewhere, you know? I like to know where I am geographically on the map, and I don't like getting lost every time I just wander around to discover the map, you know? Now, hot take alert. Even if it's been pretty hot since I've started this video, but I still quite enjoy doing the Easter egg. I know it's not a really well developed one, but I still like doing it step by step with the computer telling us what to do. It's not incredible, obviously, but it's quite chill to me. I can see myself trying to relax by doing an Easter egg on a Call of Duty Zombies map, and it would be this one, without having my head exploded by some complicated steps, which happened a lot of times in the past, believe me. It's a fun map to me if you just want to relax and do an Easter egg that is not too complicated, you know? Also, I like the cheat codes that you can enter in the computer that will make some bonuses spawn. It can help the players if they're in a bad situation, so I will not complain about that. It's a cool feature, even if it's not pretty original. I also kind of like the special enemies of this map, like the lightning hounds or the crawlers. They are quite unique to this map and not very hard to kill. The Nova 6 crawler though is annoying, I will give you that. He's pretty much the only exception, in my opinion. I also like the outro cutscene of this map. It's honestly a classic one at this point, and it's so emotional towards Samantha. You can really feel her anger, and she is pretty scary there. I like how both crew just meet Samantha and Eddie at the same time after all these years. It's like the Avengers Endgame of the COD Zombies community, you know? Now, with all that said, let me tell you what I dislike about this map. So, like I said previously, I quite like the sound design, but why I say quite is because during the rounds, I feel like the sound design is pretty empty. Also, I think the boss fight is too hard and takes too much place in closed spaces. It's the only part of the Easter egg that I hate, and sadly, that's like the last step of the Easter egg. So if you die there, you have to do it all over again. Every time I tried to beat this boss fight, I just found myself becoming Hulk every time I died.
Wow, that was a moment?
Also, I don't really like how close the spaces are in this map. If you're claustrophobic, do not play this map. Personally, I like having maps with a great mix of closed and open spaces, but this map is pretty much closed spaces, and I don't necessarily like it. Also, I don't like that this map is another facility. Like I said on my 10th spot, I believe the entire community is tired of getting facilities as maps, and we want more mystical maps, you know? Like Citadel des Morts, as long as they're done greatly. Yeah, I'm talking about you, the Tomb. Also, the story of the main quest is pretty bad, not gonna lie. With that spirit trapped in a mannequin and that computer telling us what to do, it misses some real life forms, in my opinion, to make this map feel more alive. It's kind of too robotic for me. In conclusion, I think this map is overhated. I like the layout of the map, the wonder weapons, and its playable characters. The map itself has a lot of flaws, yes, but I still remember myself having a great time playing this map 5 years ago. Okay guys, I can finally say that we're done with Alpha Omega. You can put down your pitchforks and your torches. And so, let's move on to the 8th position of this ranking, which is... Yes, you heard me correctly. Somebody included Liberty Falls in their top 10. Hold on, let me explain myself. Liberty Falls is one of the 2 maps included in Black Ops 6 during its release. We play as operators. It's a really small town where a zombie outbreak happened. Now, here's what I like about this map. Honestly, I am one of the few enjoyers of maps that take place during the day. I don't know why. I like to see where I shoot, if you get what I mean. I remember before BO6's release when Call of Duty shared us some gameplay footage of Liberty Falls during COD Next, and everyone in the community, well, actually most of the community hated it, including myself. I think its final and released version has really improved for the better. They mostly improved the colors, which now gives the map a nice visual filter, and I find it quite cute. I also like that the map is not too big, because it makes it my go-to map when I want to do small length games that won't go on forever. I have a lot of great memories of this map, because that's like the map where I grinded my Nebula camos on my guns. Yes, I have Nebula camos. I had no life at the time, sorry guys. I also like the fact that the map is full of side Easter eggs. They're all pretty different from each other, and they make me better prepared in the earlier rounds. So thank God they exist. Special shout out to the bowling alley side Easter egg. This might be one of my favorite side Easter eggs of all time because of how cool the final step is. I also like that the map has different locations within it, like a motel, a comic book store, and a goddamn bowling alley. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm a big fan of Infinite Warfare Zombies, so I like goofy stuff in Zombies maps. Even if these locations are not as explorable as they could have been, especially the motel, I still like that these locations are part of the map. Also, I like the fast travel system. It makes the movement faster on this map, and it also makes the games faster, which joins one of my previous points about how it's my go-to map whenever I need to grind XP or camos. I also like the wonder weapon of this map, the jet gun. Thank God it's not Transit's version of the gun.
This gun sucks!
I think they really gave us a great version of the gun on this map, and it is pretty fun to use. Now, with all that said, here's what I dislike about this map. I think the map has no ambience sound-wise. I think the sound design of the map is pretty empty, which is really sad to see because Treyarch made some incredible sound designs in the past, including on Terminus, which is the other map that was in the game when it launched. Another thing that I disliked about this map is the main Easter egg. It's honestly too fast and easy. There's like no challenge in it, and the boss fight is so bad. It's literally not a boss fight, you know? It's 3 survival rounds against the elite boss of the map, which literally appears during normal rounds. And the boss fight takes place in an already accessible part of the map, the church. At least you have access to the pack-a-punch during the boss fight, so it's the only W there. Another thing that I dislike about this map is that we play as operators canonly. It was one of Cold War's biggest problems, and they still brought it into this game. I think it's universally agreed within the community that we prefer to play as a character that has dialogues and a story surrounding their character. It makes the lore of the maps more interesting, you know? Another thing that I dislike about this map is the Abomination. I think his name fits him well. I hate this elite boss. Having to shoot one of its 3 heads is annoying, and I hate it so much when he shoots his laser at us. The Abomination brings back PTSDs from Shadows of Evil from when I started to play this game. The Manglers are fine, but I hate that somehow their hand cannon has an aim assist and that players cannot dodge it. Finally, the last thing that I hate about this map is its special enemy round. I think the vermins themselves are not the problem. They're pretty cool and have a cool design, but it's just the length of these rounds. They are just too long. We gotta send our prayers to the high round players of this community. In conclusion, I think that Liberty Falls is a fun go-to map when you don't necessarily have too much time to play a zombies game. It's a nice map to start off if you want to get into Call of Duty Zombies. It's not a complicated map, and it's good for grinding, just like the Maschine. Now, with all that said, let's move on to the 7th spot of this ranking, which is... Yeah, we're still on Black Ops 6 here. But don't worry, it will be the last map of this game in this ranking, which means Terminus, the Tomb, and Shattered Veil did not make the list. Citadelle des Morts is a map from Black Ops 6 that was released as part of the Season 1 Reloaded update. We can play either as the BO6 crew or again as operators. The map is an ancient castle hiding mystical secrets. Now here's what I like about this map. I like that it finally took a mystical approach after all these facilities maps we had. We finally had a unique map after all these years. I also quite like the visual ambience of the map. I really think the map looks good with its colors and its textures. I like that we have 4 elemental wonder weapons. What's also fun about that, apart from being goddamn swords, is that each version might be someone's favorite, depending on the type of player you are. And there's none of these 4 swords that is universally agreed as being the best out of these 4, even if the lion sword clears. I like that the map has a great mix of opened and closed spaces. It adds more variety to the locations of this map and makes the players conscious on what places they should not be when they are at the peak of round 30. Also, honestly, even if the main Easter egg is not pushed enough, I still quite like it. I would have preferred steps that don't necessarily include the whole process of upgrading the 4 elemental swords, but I still find the main Easter egg quite fun to do. I also like how unique and different all the fast travel systems are in this map. They are so goofy, and I like goofy stuff in zombies maps, like I mentioned previously. I think the doppelgas is a great enemy type. They are fun to try to kill in open spaces, but the moment you step foot in a closed space, they will kill you as fast as Usain Bolt runs. Also, Lightman is the best ammo type. The boss fight is also pretty cool. I find it a little too hard, honestly, but the concept of the fight and its location are amazing.
W Treyarch!
Now, with all that said, here's what I dislike about the map. I think overall, the map had more potential than what it was released as. And all the points that I am going to mention here feeds this opinion of mine. Let's start with the side Easter eggs. Yeah, there are some. Like the alcohol Easter egg that makes you become a barman for like 1 minute. That one is also pretty funny, like the bowling alley one in Liberty Falls. But seeing the size of the map, I think there could have been more side Easter eggs. Also, they didn't develop too much on the lore of this map. We are being told a story through the main quest, but the story honestly had more potential than what was told. I would have preferred them to develop more on the lore of this map. I also don't really think the map is that replayable. After finally beating the boss fight of this map, there's nothing else to do really. No lore to discover, no Easter eggs to discover, just pure emptiness. It's pretty sad to see in my opinion, because the map had the potential for its life cycle to last longer. Finally, the last thing that I dislike about this map is its sound design. Again, I think in general, it's one of BO6's biggest problems. Terminus has honestly the best sound design for now, out of BO6's catalog. And the other maps didn't really reach its level. In Citadel's case, there was more potential to have a unique and spooky sound design across the entire map, but it honestly feels as empty as Liberty Falls' sound design. In conclusion, Citadelle des Morts is a fun map to discover for the first time because of its cool concept and its fun quest. But when you finish the map, there's nothing else to discover. I prefer it to Liberty Falls though, because of its size, its visual ambience, and its gameplay overall. Now, with all that said, let's move on to the 6th spot of this ranking, which is Alright, here's another map out of Black Ops 4's catalog, and I think we have a pretty solid map here. 9 is one of the 4 maps included with Black Ops 4's release. We play as the Chaos Crew. The map is a gladiatorial arena in Egypt during the time of the Roman Empire. Now, here's what I like about this map. I find the ambience in general of the map really unique and intriguing. It explores Greek mythology, I believe, with 4 of its gods. Each of these 4 gods is associated with a temple around the map. And the way the map is divided with its spawn arena in the middle and the 4 temples on the corners is pretty easy to remember. So it's a nice map to try if you are a new zombies player. The sound design is also really cool and it hypes the players up when the crowd is cheering. The map is also full of unique creatures and features. Here are the features that I like. I like the crowd affinity system that can give you a reward based on if the crowd is happy or not with your performance. This system is measured with your performance in the game. So if you're a monster, the crowd will applaud you and give you rewards. But if you're a noob, you're literally get thrown at your face. I'm not joking. It's literal Again, I love goofy stuff in zombies maps. I also like trials on this map. Unlike the Machine's trials, I think they really fit with 9's vibe because you play as gladiators and you can be challenged by different gods. I think the implementation of this feature really works with the map and it is motivated with its story. On the Machine, on the other hand, the trials just feel too random and out of place. Back to 9 now. I think the trials make the games more challenging and it helps with the replayability of the map because each game will give you different trials. So you'll adapt to the games depending on the trials you get and also depending on if you want to do these trials or not. I think the special enemy round is so cool. It's the only map where I can fight goddamn tigers. It might be one of my favorite special enemy types of all time. I also like how diversified the steps of the main Easter egg are. Each temple has a very unique challenge and they build up to an insane boss fight where you have to fight 2 elephants. Isn't that insane? I honestly love the direction this map took and the risks they took. The artistic direction is also really good looking and incorporates fun details from Greek mythology. The shield of this map is also pretty unique and fun to use with its melee and shooting ability. It might be one of my favorite shields of all time. I also like the mysteries around the map. There are many details, ciphers, and Easter eggs that are just mysterious and up to the community to discover, which is awesome and adds more aura to the map. Now, with all that said, here's what I dislike about this map. The Blight Father elite boss is annoying. I hate it so much. I don't like trying to kill it. And I hate it when he vomits on utilities and we have to pay to clean his mess. I also hate the other special enemy types like the Destroyers, the Marauders, and the Catalysts. They are so annoying to try and kill with their special abilities and all. Their concepts are cool as hell on paper, but in practice, they are annoying and there are sometimes too many of them, just like the Manglers when Black Ops 6 launched. I honestly usually hate zombies with range attacks, and these enemies are no exception. Also, like I said previously, the steps of the main Easter egg are cool, but they are so complicated and difficult to do. I like the path they took with variety within the steps, but sometimes they are just too complex for no reason. Also, I hate that the cinematics take too long to be textured, and so it creates confusion when watching them, especially during the outro cutscene after you beat the Easter egg. Everyone was jump scared by the sudden appearance of Diego's head. In conclusion, 9 is such a good looking map with unique features that makes this map fun as hell to play. Now, with all that said, let's move on to the 5th spot of this ranking, which is Alright, here's our first map from Infinite Warfare Zombies. My personal favorite zombies mode, like you can see there. Rave in the Redwoods is the second map of Infinite Warfare Zombies. It was released with DLC 1, Sabotage. We play as the IW Zombies crew. The map is a summer camp at night that was taken over by a rave party. Now, here's what I like about this map. First of all, the colors mixed with the nighttime. I love Rave's colors mixed with its darkness. It gives such a unique look to the map. This is just a fun map in general, with a really cool ambience visually and sound-wise. Talking about sound, I love the the sound design of this map. You have two different sound design depending on where you are on the map. You either have the basic Night in the Woods sound design or the rave music sound design. I love how it brings so much life into the map, and the rave songs are just straight up bangers. I also like that you start up the map differently than the others. You start without a gun. Instead, you have access to different melee weapons for free, which gives us a unique gameplay for once. The special enemy type of this map is gorillas. Who would have thought? I love the goofy direction this map took with this decision. I hate when they throw rocks at you though, but whatever, they look cool as hell. You can also be high when killing zombies, which makes this map more colorful than originally and unique. Once again, this feature of the map is goofy honestly, but in a great way. The characters you play as are pretty fun, and the celebrity of this map is Kevin Smith. If you didn't know, each map in Infinite Warfare Zombies, except the Beast from Beyond, has a celebrity guiding the players through the main Easter egg, and on this map, it's Kevin Smith. If you beat the Easter egg, you can play as the celebrities when entering a code before starting the game, which is awesome. The boss fight is also pretty fun, in my opinion. Running around an open-spaced area with obstacles while trying to shoot at the super slasher is awesome. Talking about open spaces, I like the open spaces of this map. It's a great mix of opened and closed spaces. I also like that this map is full of side Easter eggs that can reward you with special abilities apart from the perks. It adds to the list of many things you can do on this map, which makes it more fun to play. I also like the narration of Willard Wyler on this map and how there are secrets of his background story hidden on this map. I also like the different locations of this map. Its size and layout overall is great. Now, with all that said, here's what I dislike about this map. I think the Slasher Elite boss is too hard to kill, and knowing that he only appears when you're high is disappointing because it doesn't make the players want to go in the high mode after round 15 when he appears. Please don't clip this moment out of context. He looks so good, and I find it so disappointing the way he was used. The Easter egg is also too simple in my opinion. I would have liked it to be more complicated and longer, but not as long as Shaolin Shuffle's Easter egg. Now that one was too long. The wonder weapons of this map are okay. Honestly, they're not incredible, but they're usable. My favorite one is Acid Rain. In conclusion, Rave is a great mix of fun and scary elements. The map is beautiful visually and sounds pretty great. Now, with all that said, let's move on to the fourth spot of this ranking, which is... Honestly, are you really surprised at this point? Zombies in Spaceland is the first map of Infinite Warfare Zombies. It was released alongside Infinite Warfare's launch. We play as the IW Zombies crew. The map is an attraction park set in the 80s. Now, here's what I like about this map. I find this map so fun in its entirety. The point of its existence is not to give the players a sophisticated zombies experience. It's supposed to give the players a fun time. You can play basketball, arcade games, and even ride a goddamn roller coaster. The map is just pure goofiness, and that's what gives this map its charm. The special enemy type of this map is clowns. Isn't that incredible? I somehow love clowns in real life, so seeing them on this map makes it so goofy and funny, and they are so fun to kill. Also, the map is divided between different sections of the attraction park, with each having their own theme, which makes these sections more unique from one another. I really love the layout of the map and how easy it is to navigate through it. The map is also so colorful and I like it. It really rocked that 80s energy. The map is also full of fun and unique quests, so you always have something to do on this map. Also, the sound design is pretty good. It's literally David Hasselhoff playing the DJ on this map, and the songs he plays are straight up bangers. I discovered some of my favorite songs of all time because of this map. When you complete the main Easter egg, you then can play as David Hasselhoff. Isn't that insane again? Also, Willard Wyler's narration narration is pretty fun throughout the Easter egg. And the boss of this map is an alien. I honestly don't know at this point how many times am I going to say isn't that crazy in this part of the video. The map is also a good mix of opened and closed spaces. The difference is pretty much noticeable when you compare the available space to run outside and inside buildings. The wonder weapons of this map have long quests associated with them, which can give the players a fun time. And the weapons themselves are pretty cool, and they are pretty funny too. Have you ever thought a zombie would breakdance in a Call of Duty Zombies game? Well, there you go. Isn't that crazy? Also like the designs of the playable characters on this map. They portray pretty well the stereotypes of the 80s. Honestly, what else can I say? This map is just straight up fun. That's the precise word to describe the map. Now, with all that said, here's what I dislike about this map. The elite boss, the Brute, is annoying to kill. You first have to make him remove his helmet and then shoot at it. But if you're too slow, he will put his helmet back on. If you don't have enough time to kill the Brute, it becomes annoying. Also, I hate when he shoots his lasers. Zombies with range attacks. Am I right, chat? The main quest of this map is kind of mid too, not gonna lie. And the boss fight is too hard. The more players you have in your game, the more aliens will spawn, and it just creates chaotic moments with your friend. I would not suggest you to do the Easter egg if you're more than 2 players on this map, honestly, because of that. In conclusion, if there would be one word to describe this entire map, it would be fun. Now, let's move on to the third spot of this ranking, which is this map is honestly one of the most underrated maps of all time in my opinion. Dead of the Night is the 5th map of Black Ops 4 and it was included in DLC 1. We play as the celebrity cast of this map. The map is a mansion in England and its surroundings. Now, here's what I like about this map. The artistic direction of this map is one of its best aspects in my opinion. Visually, it looks great, and I love this mansion's ambience mixed with zombies. The cast is not really memorable, but I love their costumes, so they look great. The intro cutscene gave to the players the colors of this map, and I quite like it. It's cool to go from everybody dancing, drinking, and having fun to screaming, running, and dying. Talking about colors, the colors are just great on this map. My eyes are pleased every time I play this map. They fit really well with the darkness of the nighttime. The wonder weapon is also unique and good looking. I don't really like how random the effects are, but they are pretty fun. And I like to do the quest to upgrade it. Except for the step where you have to dig with a brain-rotted zombie. That part is annoying as hell. Also, having a werewolf as an elite boss is such a unique element of the map. And I love it. He's tall, scary, and fast. And he looks cool as hell. He's honestly fun to try to kill while running away from him. The map is quite big and has an easy layout to remember, which is nice. The main quest is honestly pretty fun to do, in my opinion, and the steps are unique and diverse. Also, I wouldn't say this map is goofy, but I love how explicit they are with the magic and the mythology. The boss fight is pretty fun to do because you have to do more than just survive. You have to move the direction of some statues so you can see the boss and shoot at it. It might be annoying for some, but to me, it just adds more complexity to the boss fight and makes it more fun and less easy to complete. I also find the nighttime of this map beautiful and it fits really well with the colors of this map, like I said previously. I also like the amount of side quests this map has. It's really full of things to do and places to explore, so you don't wander around doing nothing. Now, with all that said, here's what I dislike about this map. I hate the vampires, especially the red one. The concept of having vampires as special enemies is cool, but they honestly annoy me a tiny bit. People also complain that there is too many objects to pick up in your inventory, which is something that I would agree with. It's not big enough of a deal for me, but I honestly agree with this take. I also believe that getting to the Pack-a-Punch is a bit too long. There could have been less steps or they could have been shorter to complete. RIP to the normies who are trying to pack-a-punch their guns without having to watch a no-nonsense guide.
Hi guys.
Also, it might just be me, but I feel like we're missing some ambient sounds. The entire ambience of the map is based on its visuals and less on its sound, which I find pretty sad, honestly. Maybe it's just my memory that's bad, because the last time that I've played this map was like 5 years ago. The main quest might also be a tiny bit too long, but at least the steps are fun to do. In conclusion, I think Dead of the Night has an incredible ambience and has a lot of things to do. The quest might be too long, but it's still a fun experience. Now, let's move on to the second spot of this ranking, which is... Okay, I have a confession to make. I'm an Outbreak enjoyer. I know, my soul should be purified, but hear me out. I still love round-based zombies maps a lot, but I have reasons that make me like Outbreak a tiny bit more. Outbreak is a large-scale zombies experience on Cold War that was released as part of Season 2's update. We play as operators. The mode is composed of 8 different regions and 7 different objectives. Now, here's what I like about this mode. My biggest liking of this mode is its replayability. It might be a hot take, but I find more replayability in Outbreak than in Round Base. Each game of Outbreak is set to be different from another. You start in a different region with a different objective each time, and the rest of the game is random. You don't know what to expect in advance. I also like that it's kind of an open world with open spaces, because you're free to do whatever you want at your own pace. You can also decide if you want to do some side Easter eggs to have a better loadout in the earlier rounds, or just do high rounds. I really like the freedom that we have in this mode. There are also 2 main Easter eggs that you can do if you want to do more than just survive, with one of them having a cool boss fight. I like some regions and some I don't. I love Alpine, but I hate Armada. So my liking of my games are variable depending on the regions I go first and on the objectives I receive first. My favorite part of the mode is honestly getting points and upgrading my loadout. I do every side quests at earlier rounds so I can get the best loadout possible as early as possible. Honestly, I really like to relax while playing this game mode. It's not too complicated. Now, with all that said, here's what I dislike about this mode. I think each region lacks ambience, especially sound-wise. I believe there are maps from multiplayer, if I'm correct, so they were not programmed for zombies at first. That's that zombies aspect that is missing from this mode, if you understand what I'm trying to say. I also hate that, yet again, we play as operators, but that's the case for every Cold War map. I also believe that the Outbreak games that I play are a bit too long. You really need to have time in front of you if you want to play this mode. Also, sometimes I can feel bored whenever I drive around the map without nothing to do and no challenges to face. In conclusion, I really think that Outbreak is an overhated mode and I really like its replayable aspects. Each game is set to be different from another, which adds more variety to this mode. Now, let's move on to my final, the ultimate spot of this ranking. My favorite COD Zombies map of all time.
Kino der Toten Black Ops 1.
I'm just kidding here. I've got a worse one than that. My real favorite COD Zombies map of all time is... Yep, you read this correctly. Attack of the Radioactive Thing is my favorite map of all time. Don't worry, you're not crazy. I am. Attack of the Radioactive Thing, as goofy as the name sounds, is the 4th map of Infinite Warfare Zombies. It was released with DLC 3 Absolution. We play as the IW Zombies crew. The map is set in a fictional beach where the government tested nuclear weapons. Now, here's what I like about the map. First off, the artistic direction is beautiful. I love the 50s design of an abandoned motel and its surroundings. Also, the map is in daylight. which I prefer for some reason on this map specifically. You start the map as black and white, and 2 doors later, colors appear. And that's a really cool concept in my opinion. It also helps that the colors of this map are amazing. The aesthetic of this map is so unique, and that's probably the biggest reason why I love this map so much. The celebrity of this map is Elvira, and I honestly like her jokes.
Don't worry, doll. This isn't the first time I've handled something this big.
She's always the character that I choose to play as. Don't ask me why. I think she makes this map feel more alive with her narration with Willard Weilers. I also really like how the radioactive thing, which is the name of the boss by the way, changes position when you progress through the map. You can see it far away scouring an abandoned ship at the start of the game, but he comes closer to the beach later on. Also, I like the open spaces of the map that lets me run around with zombies the way I want, and especially on the beach. I also like that you have access to 2 different melee weapons for free, and they do more damage than your original melee weapon. Honestly, I also really like the boss fight and its different steps. It's not a boss fight where you only need to survive and shoot the boss. You have different steps and different objectives to complete, and you do all that in a big area, which is different from all the steps you have to do in a small area, just like in Shaolin Shuffle's boss fight. I also think the boss looks pretty cool. I like his aura. I also like the fast travel system with the teleporters, because the map is so big and it helps the players to go in another place faster. Talking about the size of the map, I like how big it is. It's composed of many locations that are each unique and different from each other, which is fun. They all look pretty great in my opinion. Also, the concept of the Krogs being thrown in the map from the sky is so cool, even if the enemies themselves can be annoying at times because of that radioactive leak they leave on the floor when they die, and that damages the player. I also like that you can kill them before they even step foot on the map just by shooting their eggs in the sky. Now, with all that said, here's some things that I disliked about this map. The wonder weapon is pretty bad, not gonna lie. It takes too long to charge, and it doesn't even do a lot of damages. Also, the main Easter egg is not that great, because you pretty much only have to pick up stuff and insert numbers at different places. And don't even get me started on the chemical step. That one is atrocious, I will give you that. I can't complete this Easter egg without a guide on my side solely because of this chemical step. Also, the new perk that this map added, Change Shoes, is not that incredible to be honest. Who even remembered this perk existed? I also hate that there are 2 doors at $2,000 each in the middle of the map on that bridge. It should have been just 1 door at $2,000 in my opinion. The Crack Brute is also an annoying elite boss, especially when he goes underground and he tries to scare you Five Nights at Freddy's style, or when he flashbangs us. I have a lot of difficulties to try and find a way to kill it as fast as possible. In conclusion, I think Attack of the Radioactive Thing is a beautiful map with an incredible aesthetic. The unique features of this map makes it more memorable and fun, to me at least, even if I can recognize some of its flaws, especially because of the main Easter egg. And so, that was my top 10 Call of Duty Zombies maps of all time. You can now write your "tell bro to never rank again" comments down below. Yeah, I can hear them through my screen. I didn't want to come in here and glaze Origins for like an hour, you know? That's what makes every ranking so unique and special. Everyone has different opinions, and none of them is more valid than another. I know this might be the worst ranking you've ever seen, but it's my ranking based on my experience as a COD Zombies player from a new generation of players, and I just wanted to share it with y'all today. We're so accustomed to hearing the same thing being said over and over again about how like Dead Rise and Drac is the best map of all time, so maybe it's refreshing to finally hear someone say new things for once, even if you don't necessarily agree with them. Maybe this video will make people less scared of telling their opinions online, because I feel like whenever your opinion is different than everybody else, you automatically get attacked, and that's honestly sad. I just want people to come out from the COD Zombies subreddit and tell their hot takes online without getting attacked, you know? I kind of want to be like the black sheep of the community, so when people say say their opinions online. You can say, well, at least it wasn't as bad as this guy from YouTube, you know? As long as you respect my opinions, I will respect yours. And you totally have the right to disagree with anything I just said throughout this whole video, which would be understandable, to be fair. I am now ready to be obliterated by the COD Zombies subreddit and community, which I am a part of. I guess the lesson of this video will be this. Don't be ashamed to say your opinions online, even if it doesn't align with the universally agreed takes. Except if your top 1 map of all time is trendy. What is your favorite COD Zombies map of all time? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Tell me which map is your favorite map of all time. Leave a like or a dislike, which probably will be a dislike if you want. Subscribe if you want more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.